just thinking about the ramifications of what I'm about ready to do on many different levels. This video is going to make you guys question everything you know or you think you know about the Toshiba transistor. So perhaps we better start from the beginning. A few months ago, I had a really close friend of mine show up over here, and he wanted me to repair his boxes. I said, okay, cool. And what he brought with him, he goes, I've got transistors and everything. And I said, okay. And what he brought with him was this. Now, at first glance, and unless you spend your entire day looking at these stupid things like I do, you would look at this and go, wow, that's a legit Toshiba. But then I looked at the date code and I'm like, 9B? So 2019, December, let's see, January, February. So 2019, February. They weren't making these anymore. Wait a minute. So I start looking at it even closer. The substrate material is wrong. This piece. Need a little bit better pointy tool. Glad I left one sitting out for myself here. This material here is wrong. Okay? And the gap here is off. Just a hair, but the glue is right. And the print isn't square, but the O in the Toshiba is square and not round. And I went, but I think this one's a fake. And he goes, no, it's not a fake, it's not a fake, not a fake. And I said, well, where'd you get it from? And he goes, well, I got it off eBay. And I went, oh shit, okay. And my brain immediately went to the fact that the market is flooded with fake Toshiba components. And I mean flooded. Look at the HFE on that. That is fake as can be. Now, with this little tester, I want to be very clear that this is the home game tester. This is not a bench precision piece of test equipment by any means. This has got a little like 3.5 volt battery in it that's only a couple hundred milliamps. There's no way to push this to the proper HFE gains. There's just no way to do it with this tester. But this tester does come with some really freaking cool advantages. Let's see, I need an HG. That argument that I just made to you guys about this tester is the fallback argument of every HG defender that there is on the face of the earth. We're going to go with the fact that we know that this is made in China. We know for a frickin' fact that this is made in China. So let's go ahead and let's do this test. This has got an HFE gain of 30. 30. Why is it that this Chinese-made component and this Chinese-made component are dramatically different? This has got a gain of 73 to 77, repeatable on this little home gamer tester. This tester is kind of like your antenna analyzer, your MFJ, your rig experts. It's to help keep you as the end consumer safe and to get you close enough of matching your components, okay? This doesn't necessarily have to be within the 5 or 1% tolerance of a precision piece of test equipment at a workbench. It just has to be close enough to keep you so that your HFE gains aren't so far apart on your components that you end up chewing the components up because they're so radically mismatched. It's quick and it's easy, as in like it doesn't matter which base collector, emitter, it doesn't matter. It auto figures all that out for you. It doesn't make you learn like on MOSFETs, gate, source, drain, that you don't have to learn what all those tabs are for the testing. You hook up any 3 of those tabs and then you hit test and it goes. That's the reason I'm a big proponent of this, is when people decide that they're going to get into amp building, they're going to go, I suggest buy this or that, DC55. The 75A Pro is really cool because it's got this port that allows you to plug into the computer and on the software. And if you guys want to let me show you this at some point, I will show you the difference. That the software that comes with this does show a dramatic difference between a real Toshiba and this high quality knockoff. But I digress. Let's set this aside. And the main point behind this is the HFE gains on these do radically change by about 20 when you increase the current load on the tester. I have a curve trace machine over here made by Tektronix, which was like $1,400. I got the Siemens tester that allows me to put up to 150 amps on a component, even though that this thing only requires about 25, both of these, to fully saturate the part with shmoo. Hence the reason when I did the data sheet for the 2879C, when you saturate the 2879C with a large current load, we see a 50-50 chance. The wafer of the transistor is so thin that when you put it underneath a heavy load, the wafer flexes. And either it's going to flex up away from the transistor and not short out, or it flexes in the opposite direction and it does short out. So let's see here. Let's go to millimeters. No, let's do it in inches. And what I mean by the wafer thickness .16, 0.20. Okay, so how we make our comparison, these are just the transistors I got sitting out here for another project. Flats and flats and flats of these. Okay. The thinner you make this wafer, which the thickness of the tabs is the thickness of the wafer, the more prone you are to having flex. So this is an incredibly thin wafer, but to make this transistor work in his die program that he's got going on the inside, it has to be that thin. This is thicker and has a higher HFE gain. The whole point behind this is I'm not looking to find a knockoff transistor. I'm trying to find a good alternative to this. This has got a gain of 79. So these are relatively close. Let's get rid of this. These are relatively close, but when you put them side by side, the differences become unbelievably clear. This is a real Toshiba. This is a fake Toshiba. This is a real non-red dot, 25-year-old part, 30-year-old part. That is a fake part. Please note the differences in the print. Please note the difference in the logo. Please note the difference in color. We can stack them up like this all day. It's the small details that we're down to at this point. But what this made me think is, you have the thought to yourself, interesting. Not, oh, I'm going to get a bunch of these and I'm going to sell them as Toshibas. No. This tells me that somewhere in China there is a company that makes this component. The other thing that you can measure on these that makes a huge difference is the foot. The dimensionality of the foot, how wide it is. The HG 16D08 does not fit in a 2879 slot. The 2879, the real 2879 is slightly smaller than this substrate and this substrate, the foot material. The foot is just slightly oversized. So when I took an HG and I put this up against it, these have the exact same foot. There's a little cant that's on this one that is not present here. And the slot on the foot is straight like the real deal, but this one's round. There's little minute differences between the two. But when you put this one on a curve trace machine, first you set the curve trace machine up on the known transistor, your known Toshiba, and you get your emitter base, collector, emitter base, and so on, your breakdowns, and you leave that active on the chart. When you put this up against those, like a real Toshiba, this is really stinking close. I mean, like really, really, really stinking close. It's within 5% of the actual Toshiba. So that tells me there is somebody in China that is making this part that is really, really close. Now, once you get to working with the Chinese market, you'll find that for $1 more per transistor, they'll print anything on there you want. Anything you want. I'm not interested in trying to replace the Toshiba with a Toshiba name or part. I want to find a component that works better than this. Okay? I swear to God, I think this guy is working in a 2-bedroom apartment, and he might have 2 or 3 people working for him, and they're his neighbors. The foot of this transistor is a commercially viable product. Okay? The case that the transistor's held in, the white top, the ceramic material, is a commercially bought product that you can buy in bulk, and you buy it by the pound in China. Okay? Literally. He's going down to the store and he's buying himself in Shenzhen, whatever, the feet and the lids, and he's buying from the vendors there the glue to put these together, and he's assembling these transistors himself. Hence the reason that we see some of the deviations that we see, like every once in a while the foot and the cap material, the consistency of spacing isn't the same. It goes on and on and on and on. But somebody put a little bit of work into this. Like, they really friggin' sharpened their banana claws or their pencils, and they sat down and they really thought about this. At first glance, unless you'd spent a ton of time looking at these, this would pass the sniff test. Like, smells like Toshiba. Cheap tester, it tests like Toshiba. It must be Toshiba. And then you go to try and put it in a slot for a Toshiba and it won't fit. And then you try to go run it with a Toshiba and it won't fit. It just won't work. It'll work for a hot minute, but then it's going to fail. It's going to kill it and the Toshiba that it's paired with. Because once you pop the top off, you'll see inside dramatically they're vastly different little tools on the inside. They're close, but they're still vastly different. So now that we've established this is a fake, this is what I would consider to be one of the better fakes. But this fake right here got me thinking, there's got to be a vendor in China that sells this as a blank. And if I can find that vendor in China, I might be able to bring to the American market a transistor that's better than this by a lot. The fact that this little transistor tester and the curve trace machine that comes with this and my big Tektronix shows this thing smokes this clean out of the water. Actually, this device here I think is more like an 18 to 20 volt rated device. Now, American Microsemi built a component here in the United States at one point that was an 18 volt device. It was designed, specifically engineered to be operated at 18 volts, where the stock Toshiba was designed and specifically engineered to be at a 12 volt device. I honestly think this is a copy of American Microsemi transistor, to be honest with you, because this is amazing. This part is, if we could get more of these and have them labeled with a different part number, This would be titties. So I decided I would put on my HEPA helmet and go jump into the swimming pool on the shallow end and let my head hit the bottom of the pool, because I wanted to see what was out there. So I proceeded to get on eBay and buy one fake transistor from every single person that lists on eBay. And then I got on Alibaba, and there's a lot of relist of multiple vendors on Alibaba and AliExpress, and proceeded to buy one from every single one of those vendors in the search for this. Boy howdy, the shit that I got from all of these vendors. I had transistors show up. I had one company that sent me, their first test piece was breathtaking. And then I said, okay, well, I'll buy from you like another 24 more. So I wanted to see what would happen, and I bought it with PayPal protection. So I wasn't worried. I was going to get my money back no matter what. What showed up here, which I ended up sending back, was transistors with the lids that were glued on upside down. They were glued on sideways. The tabs were so short it was unbelievable. The feet, I literally had one that showed up that the foot of the transistor was plastic. I ended up sending all that back. I got my money back. No harm, no foul, just out of the money for like 2 months. No big deal. But the whole point behind this video is I wanted to show you the best and the worst of the fake Toshiba components. And I've still yet to even show you the best. Let's have a hot minute, and I'm going to show you the worst. We'll say that this is a 9 on a good copy. We'll say the best piece that I've ever got out of China, we'll call it a 10, okay? Copy. We'll say this is a 9. Well, I'll just put this up there and say this is about a 3. The foot is gold. The tabs look like a child cut them. We'll say this is about a 3. The foot is made up of I don't know what. It has been, for whatever reason, re-gold plated by hand. This is like gold paint that's on here, and it's bent. We'll say this is a 3, and they only get better from here. We're gonna call this a 2, maybe. This is the one my friend gave me, or I bought from my friend. I gave him like $100 for a pair of these because I thought it was interesting, and I knew he was in it for money, and I didn't want him to lose money, even though they were fake. And the argument we had back and forth was just, I wish I would have caught it on camera. It was like, no, it's real. That looks so real. And then I got out a real Toshiba, and we put the two next to each other. He's like, damn it. Sorry, man. You know, this is one. I got to keep these in order because I'm trying to chase where these are coming from. The higher up the food chain you go with the Toshiba or the transistors in China, the more and more you find that everything in China, well, because we know this is a communist community, is owned by the Communist Party. Okay. From the manufacturing company, which is the primary source of all the transistor form devices in China, there's only 4 or 5 distributors. It's like North is contracted and figured out who makes his wafer for him. It's owned by the Chinese National Party, okay? So he's working for the state government. But his parts that he's getting, there is a level of consistency to them. That's the reason that we've gone in this direction, because it's the only option we really have. This, on the other hand, is, each one of these is different vendors. So I have a feeling that this transistor this does come from a different vendor, but it's based off of this part. Once again, the foot's made of plastic. It is beat off to all beat off. And the tabs, they said that this is as they put it in their email exchange with me, high quality, best component. This would be a 1. And don't let your eyes deceive you. These came from the same vendor. These two. This one came from a separate vendor but has the same lot number on it, which means they were all printed in the same dirt forge, hut in China. But that tab is not missing. It has been cut and folded over. And I don't know what the deal is going on here with this leg. I'd call that a 1. I really would. I really, really, really would. I would say that that is about the worst out of the worst. Now, this transistor here, these are made up of some kind of copper material that have been hand painted gold. This thing here is literally made of plastic. This is some form of hard plastic that this one's made up of, and I would say that this is a 0. But please note they all have the same lot number to them. Okay? So that means the feed source that are feeding these into the market, I'm telling you, all the same guy. But please note the characteristics in the print. The main difference with a lot of these knockoffs is the foot. You see how there's no etched ear, and here is an etched ear? And it's canted, it's got all the right stuff to it. If you receive transistors that show up in this kind of blister pack, by the way, you guys, they are fake. I don't care what argument you try to present to me or anybody with half a brain. The only people that ever package their transistors in this way are the Chinese. This is fake. These are fake. If you get transistors from any other source than RF parts, and they show up or they have this picture in their profile, they are fake. They're 100% fake. I have never, not have I ever been able to purchase a legit Toshiba transistor off of eBay or Amazon, Alibaba, or AliExpress. It does not exist. It does not exist. They are all variants of this. Right here. I'm doing the testing so you guys don't have to, and I'm spending the money so you guys don't have to try and figure this out on your own. Believe me when I tell you, even when you buy them from a US distributor, let's say that's in New York, you're going to get this style of component. It's going to show up in this blister pack. It might be a little bit prettier. The foot might not be painted gold, but it's still fake. Now, this here is a different animal. This is so close. Look at the color of the foot. Look at the print. Look at the font. Look at the glue. If I could simply figure out who is making this part, look at the width of the foot versus a real one. Look at the, it's a lot of detail. Look at the width of the tabs. The material on the tabs is correct. The thickness of the tab is correct. The font print is actually right. The problem is this doesn't exist. That's fake as frig. It's the wrong color red. But this is so close to that this machine here cannot tell the difference. It isn't until I put on the Simmons tester and I load it to about 22 amps and I start bringing the voltage up and I get up to about 18, 19 volts where we start to see the curve trace difference between these two parts. Real, fake, and fake. This is a 10. This is so close. See the cantilever in a foot right here? They've attempted it. It's not quite as crisp. You see the cantilever in the foot right here? This is straight. This is round. This is straight. But I think this is a recycled foot. If you look closely here, you'll see that there's been something screwed into this at some point. Same thing on this side, where nothing has ever been screwed in here. This is what they call a used component. Okay. If you go and you start buying these, and you start talking to the companies in China, you'll figure out that they're going to have different grades of the same component. This is what they call a used component. This foot also, something was attached here in this foot. If you look here real close, you can see there's a ring mark from the screw head that is present. This is good though. This is, I mean, as far as HFE gain goes and how it breaks down on the curve trace machine, these two are really close. That's legit, and that's still superior. The thickness of this versus the thickness of this, we're only off by a pubal hair. I mean, it's a small amount. So that means the thickness of the die in here is really good. That's still fake. But this is still, these two parts are miles better than this. From the HFE gain standpoint, the current handling standpoint, and the input and output impedances, these two are still closer to this than this. So, at the end of the day, we're going to go best, medium grade, worst. Some of these parts, I got a 2-pill built with these, and it runs amazingly. I mean, amazingly. And because its characteristics are so close to this, there's literally nothing you have to change. The best of fake and the worst of fake. And that was the point behind this video. I'm serious now. This has represented thousands of dollars worth of energy, time, and actual physical expense. But we're still on the hunt. I want to find a good distributor. The Chinese people are very much interested in the now, and this is what I've figured out. They're very much interested in the right now sale, okay? They don't care if you come to them and say, hey man, if you've got a really good component, like a really, really good component, and you can sell me mass of those, we're gonna make a ton of money. They don't care about long-term sales. They care about the right now deal, okay? Like they will send you a beautiful test piece, and then when you go and you buy, 24 more, you're gonna end up getting garbage like this. It's the bait and switch. We're gonna give you one good one, and then we're gonna give you a bunch of crap. Because all they're interested in is that one moment sale. It's so bad that, if you pay for the buyer's protection on eBay, or not eBay, but PayPal, when you go and you have the disagreement with PayPal, they're like, oh yeah, this guy, yeah, this bag of garbage, yeah, this year he's had 300 complaints against him, big giant red flag, and they just immediately give you back your money. It's the cost loss prevention gap with dealing with China is breathtaking. But I would really like to figure out who this is, who makes this part, where they got it from, and there might be a market that we could build around this. Could we build it around with the Toshiba name on it? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No way would we ever even consider that. We'd call it something else. But the fact still remains that there are really, really good transistors that are out there that run pretty close to this. and outperform this or any variant of it. A, B, C, and believe it or not, there's a D, E, and an F that's out there that we just got done playing with here, which perform a little bit better. I mean, they really do. Let's see. No, I put them away. I got 4 other test pieces here. Which I don't even think I'm cleared to show those on camera yet. From this guy. He's coming up. We got parts now that are going to way outpace the C's. Let's see, A, B, C, D, E, F. Be the F components at this point. But I wanted to bring you the best and the worst. Legit, best, mid-grade, worst. The best and the worst of the fake Toshiba 2879's off of eBay, Alibaba, AliExpress. You gentlemen have a great holiday coming up. Merry Christmas.